Hello, hello. So, I'm gonna document a few things, um, and have some things to say to some of my gardening friends. So, when I was a young guy, I got to be a apprentice gardener in North Carolina with the Mother Earth News. It was a magazine. I don't know if they're still in print, maybe. It was a homesteading back to the land, and when I was a young guy, man, that's what I wanted. I was jazzed. Um, so I got to be a garden apprentice, and it was all hand done. It was called the Biodynamic French Intensive Gardening Method, and we would double dig. So you had a big heavy fork. You'd open a trench up. You'd make permanent beds, permanent pathways. Like I think we were about 4 feet wide. I tend to make mine a little narrower. And I did that when I was here as a young guy, 26, 27. I was full of energy. But this sandy ground, it's like I never got much loft. Works really awesome in a heavy clay soil. But there was techniques that we learned, and one was called skimming. And so you'd take a nice spade. We had awesome tools, just beautiful. Smith & Hawken was the name, and used to sharpen that spade with a file. You kept it with you, and so you made that sucker just like razor sharp. And so you would skim pathways. It was cleaning up all the weeds, and then sometimes beds were overgrown, so you'd go in and you'd skim them, and you basically just cut the tops off. You want to go just below the surface. You want to cut the crown out, but you leave the roots intact. So anyway, it was always a little tough on the back, right? You got to kind of bend down and go into this swinging motion and do a shear. Well, I just found a pretty decent technique that I want to share with those friends of mine, and anybody else that's out there wanting to know how to do stuff. So I'm gonna cover crop this whole portion. And this was all weeded. I mean, it was, like out in there, see? So I knew with what tools I have, and this is my my method of stirring the ground here in a big way. I used to disc, but the little tractor that we have now is not so capable. But I can pull that cultivator, and it's enough. I got, pretty beautiful ground. You can almost plunge your hand into it. So here I finished this. Took, I don't know, about an hour. I did a whole row and towards the back end there. But what I found is a hoe. I mean, what I did is I took a hoe and put a nice sharp edge, so it would cut. And I can just stand and just, of course with both hands. It's like I'm not swinging that much of a tool, and it just cuts it right off. And then I'm gonna pick all this stuff up. I actually got a hold of some manure, and I'm gonna make a real compost pile. So I'm gonna gather all this stuff up. Plus this tool, it does not like, when you go into like that, it just clumps, right? It just grabs and it just rips and it makes big piles, and it's not workable. So it's just an old spring tooth cultivator, and I kind of readjusted it, so I'm kind of getting most of it. The little tractor does fine with that. And then I'm gonna sow buckwheat. So bought this at the co-op, like $2 for a pound. I should have bought more. I didn't know what I was gonna end up. And it's beautiful. I've done buckwheat before, and it comes up and it's just beautiful white flowers. It makes, and then there's a rebuilt little, what are they? Oh, that's a broadcast cedar, right? It got rebuilt by a handy person, Ms. Goodwrench. So old antique, and I guess that's all. I need to say. So I will show you a little later as it all comes up, and then the flower stage is beautiful. And I'm still going to get in here and do something. We're going to grow some watermelon in the old tobacco ground, and we'll see. But this portion of the garden is just going to go cover crop for this year. It's got too many projects that I need doing. I can't be out here doing a bunch of stuff. So okay, over and out. Bye.